The sun was setting on the dry colony of Alien 4. Red dust floated in the air as Lucas, a young human engineer, drove his small rover across the canyon path. His orders were clear: check out an unusual signal picked up by a satellite. Must crash. Reports turned out to be fallen junk or meteor fragments. Still, protocol demanded a full inspection. Lucas didn't expect anything special. He had a cold sandwich packed, a scanner on his belt, and a tired look on his face. The rover beeped as it neared the signal's location. He stopped near a rocky slope and looked ahead. That's when he saw it. A small ship no bigger than a shuttle was half buried in the sand. Its metal was cracked and smoking lightly. Strange symbols covered its sides, none that Lucas recognized. The ship looked like it had fallen from orbit in one piece, then slid before stopping here. Lucas pulled out his scanner and walked closer, boots crunching against gravel. Then a sound stopped him. A weak cough. Lucas froze, listening. Then, from behind a large rock, someone shifted. His heart jumped as he moved forward carefully. What if it was a wild animal? Or worse, a damaged bot? But what he saw made him blink. A girl. Not a human one. She was sitting on the ground, leaning against the rock, breathing slowly. Her skin had a soft, bluish glow under the dim light, like moonlight on water. Her hair was long, silver blue, and stuck to her face with sweat and dust. Her clothes were torn and singed, clearly from the crash. Her arms were wrapped around her knees. She looked up slowly, frightened. Lucas raised his hands in peace. Hey, it's okay. I'm not here to hurt you. The girl blinked. Her eyes were large, bright violet, and filled with pain and confusion. She didn't speak, but tilted her head slightly. Lucas took a slow step forward. You're hurt. You need help. Still no answer. Her lips moved, but no sound came. He reached into his pack and took out a clean towel, part of his emergency kit. It wasn't much, but she looked cold and exposed. Gently, he walked forward and knelt near her, holding the towel out with one hand. Here, he said, trying to smile. You can cover up. For a second, she didn't move. She stared at the towel like it was something strange and powerful. Then, slowly, her shaking hand reached out and touched it. The moment her fingers brushed the cloth, a faint glow sparked between her hand and the towel. Lucas pulled back, startled. But the glow faded as fast as it came. The girl gasped quietly and hugged the towel to her chest like it was the most precious thing she'd ever held. She looked at him with wide eyes, not scared anymore, but surprised. Her breathing changed. More steady. She closed her eyes for a moment, then opened them again and said softly, Guardian? Lucas blinked. What? She tried to sit up straighter. Her words were slow and broken, like someone learning a new language. You gave cloth to me. He nodded carefully. Yeah, it's just a towel. She shook her head. No, not just. It is bond. Lucas tilted his head. I don't understand. She pressed the towel to her face and said something in a different language. Then her small device on her collar beeped and spoke in English, translating her words. He has chosen. He has offered care and weakness. The bond begins. Lucas's mouth opened, but no words came out. Bond? He asked. She looked serious now. Yes, the one who gives cloth during fall time becomes protector. It is law. My people follow it for many seasons. Lucas stood up, brushing his hands nervously. Wait, no, I didn't mean anything. I was just helping. She didn't respond. Instead, she held the towel like it was a shield. Then she lowered her head with respect and whispered something else. The translator said, I accept. I will follow. Lucas ran a hand through his dusty hair. This is not how I thought today would go. He looked back at her ship. It was damaged beyond repair. Number signal. No engines. She wasn't going anywhere. He sighed, then looked down at her again. She had closed her eyes and was leaning her head back, breathing softly. The towel was wrapped around her shoulders now, like a blanket. Lucas turned back to his rover and opened the emergency kit. Well, I guess we both need a ride out of here. He grabbed a thermal blanket and some water, then walked back to the strange girl who called him guardian. He didn't know her name. He didn't know her people. But one thing was clear, this was not going to be an ordinary rescue. Lucas drove the rover through the dark canyon, the stars above shining brighter. With every passing hour, the alien girl sat beside him, wrapped in the towel and now a thermal blanket. She hadn't said much, just stared out the window with calm, curious eyes. He kept glancing at her, unsure what to say. His mind still echoed with her strange words. The bond begins. It sounded important, but he didn't understand it. Finally, he spoke. You got a name. The girl looked at him and nodded slowly. L-A-R-I. Double quotes. Lucas smiled. I'm Lucas. Nice to meet you. Alari. She tilted her head. You're human. Yeah. He chuckled. Last time I checked, Alari looked down at the towel again, her hands gently gripping it. You gave cloth, she said quietly. Lucas sighed. I know. I still don't understand why that's such a big deal. Alari touched the translator on her collar. The machine beeped, trying to adjust to his speech patterns. Then she said, in my culture, we believe in signs. Signs? Lucas asked. She nodded. When someone is weak or fallen, they may receive cloth, but only from one who sees them as worthy, as family, or more. Lucas blinked. Wait, like a tradition. More than that. She said softly, it is sacred. The cloth given in silence and care means bond forever. Lucas leaned back in his seat, eyebrows raised. Wow, that's heavy. Alari's voice was calm. I thought I would die in the crash. I was ready. But then you came. You gave this. You chose. Lucas rubbed his forehead. I didn't know. I was just being decent. Kindness is rare, she said. On my world, it is never wasted. They drove in silence for a while. The wind howled outside, but inside the rover, everything felt still. Lucas couldn't shake the weight of her words. He had helped people before, build shelters, fixed things, offered food. But this was different. Does this bond mean I'm stuck with you or something? He asked. Alari looked at him with her soft violet eyes. Only if you accept, and if I don't, then I will not follow. I will thank you and go. Lucas thought for a moment. He looked at her, injured, far from her home, scared but quiet, and trying to understand his world. There was no anger in her eyes, no pressure, just truth. I'm not saying yes or no yet, he said slowly, but I won't leave you behind either. Alari nodded. That is enough. They finally reached the outpost station, a small human camp with a landing pad and a few buildings. Lucas parked the rover and helped Alari out. She limped slightly, still weak from the crash. The guards at the gate looked confused when they saw her. Is she local? One of them asked. Crash survivor, Lucas said quickly. Not from here. Unknown species. She looks calm, the other guard whispered. Most aliens that crash here are panicked. Alari just stood silently, still wrapped in the towel and blanket. She gave a polite nod to the guards. Her presence was strange, but peaceful. Lucas brought her inside the medical bay, and the techs rushed over. She needs treatment, he said, and food. She hasn't eaten. While the medics checked her condition, Lucas sat nearby. His mind was spinning. How did a simple towel mean so much to someone? And what did it mean for him? After a while, one of the medics approached. She's stable. Bruises, burns, nothing life-threatening. Strong recovery signs. But what? Lucas asked. She's not in our database, the medic said. Not her species, not her tech, not even her biology. It's like she came from nowhere. Lucas glanced at Alari. She looked at him too, and her expression softened. Later that night, Lucas brought her a meal, simple broth and soft bread. She took the tray carefully and smiled faintly. You're good at care, she said. Lucas shrugged. I guess. She took a bite, then asked, do humans always act like this? Like what? Help without reward. Lucas looked down at his hands. Not always, but I try. I figure. If you can make someone feel safe, you should. Alari nodded slowly. Then you are rare. He smiled, but his heart felt heavier. He wasn't sure if he was ready to be whatever she thought he was, a guardian, a protector. He was just a guy who fixed machines and followed orders still. The way she looked at him, it wasn't fear. It was trust. That night, Lucas sat outside the medical bay, staring at the stars. Alari was asleep inside, the towel still close to her. The crash, the bond, her soft voice calling him guardian, none of it made full sense. But something told him this was just the beginning. Lucas woke up to loud alarms. The sun had just started to rise, casting a warm light on the metal walls of the outpost. He jumped off the bench outside the medical bay and rushed inside. Alari was already sitting up, her violet eyes alert. She looked toward the hallway, then back at Lucas. Trouble, she said softly. Lucas nodded. Yeah, stay here. He stepped outside and saw a group of security officers gathering at the front gate. Captain Harris, the station leader, was giving orders. What's going on? Lucas asked. Harris looked serious. A foreign ship entered our airspace 5 minutes ago. They sent a message non-human dialect. Translating now, Lucas felt a chill crawl down his back. What kind of ship? Not registered. Not even close to any known Alliance tech, Harris replied. Looks old and dangerous. A voice crackled through the speakers. A deep, robotic tone echoed in the air. We seek the escaped one. Return her or face consequences. Lucas's stomach dropped. He rushed back to the medical bay. Alari was standing now, still weak, but determined. She had heard everything. They found me, she whispered. Who are they? Lucas asked. The ones who rule my planet now, she said. They wanted power. They took it by force. I ran. Lucas frowned. So you're a refugee? Alari nodded. My family, gone. I escaped. They call me Escaped One because they fear what I know. Lucas stepped closer. Why didn't you tell me? Alari looked down. I thought, maybe I could just rest. Maybe you would be safe. He shook his head. You think I'm gonna let them take you? After everything, you gave me cloth, she said. You already chose. Before Lucas could reply, a loud boom echoed above. The sky flashed as the unknown ship entered the atmosphere. The entire outpost shook. Alarms rang louder. Defense. Drones activated. Captain Harris called for all civilians to move to the lower levels. Lucas turned to Alari. We need to move. Now. Together, they ran through the halls, heading to the hidden bunker below the outpost. Lights flickered as the ship outside hovered in the sky like a dark shadow. Her eyes single quotes as legs shook. But she didn't stop. Lucas helped her down the stairs, his heart racing. He couldn't believe how fast things had changed. In the bunker, Harris gave everyone a quick update. They're demanding we hand her over. They claim she's dangerous. Lucas stepped forward. She's not. She's running from people who hurt her. And now they want to silence her. Harris looked at Lucas. Are you saying you trust her? Yes, Lucas said firmly. I stepped beside him. I do not want war. I only want freedom. Suddenly, the ceiling shook again. Harris's communicator beeped. A voice said, They're charging weapons. Lucas looked around. Can't we talk to them? Harris sighed. We tried. They aren't listening. Alari took a deep breath. They will not listen, but they understand strength. Lucas narrowed his eyes. What do you mean? Alari turned to him. The bond between us, it is not just a symbol. It is energy. Lucas raised a brow. Energy, yes. If you accept the bond fully, it can protect. I can share it with you. Just a little. Wait, will that hurt you? No, she said. But you must be willing. Lucas looked into her eyes. Something inside him told him to trust her. He nodded slowly. Okay, I accept. Alari placed her hand gently on his. A soft light appeared between their palms. It wasn't hot, but it was powerful. It flowed through his arm, into his chest. Lucas felt a wave of calm and strength like he could stand against anything. When the light faded, he looked at her, stunned. What was that? A small part of my essence, she said. Enough to protect you. Enough to show them we are not weak. Just then, another explosion shook the outpost. The enemy ship had fired near the landing zone. Everyone panicked. Lucas stood up, no longer afraid. We can't just hide here. Harris looked at him. What are you thinking? Let me talk to them, Lucas said, face to face. They won't listen, Harris warned. Maybe not, Lucas said, looking at Alari. But they might see the bond. Alari stepped beside him. If you stand with me, they may back down. Lucas nodded. Then let's stand. The two walked toward the upper level, heading for the outside. The guards opened the blast doors. Slowly, the wind howled. The enemy ship hovered above dark, wide, and ready to fire. Lucas stepped out first, Alari close behind. The towel she had kept was now tied across her shoulders like a banner. The symbol of the bond, a beam of light, shot down, and a figure appeared, a tall alien warrior in dark armor. He looked at Alari. Then at Lucas. You gave the cloth? He asked. Lucas nodded. Yes. The alien's eyes narrowed. Then he bowed slightly. Then we cannot take her. Not without dishonor. Lucas blinked, surprised. Alari whispered. The gesture, it holds power even among enemies. The alien looked at them once more. We will report this, but no one else will come. For now. Then the ship vanished. Lucas turned to Alari. I don't understand half of what just happened. Alari smiled faintly. You understood. Enough to stand beside me, and that was all that mattered. The alien ship had disappeared, but Lucas knew they were not safe yet. Alari's pursuers were powerful, and they would return with more forces. The outpost was no place for her to stay. We need to leave, Lucas said quietly, looking at Alari. They'll come back soon. She nodded. Yes, my people are dangerous when hunting. They packed quickly. Lucas grabbed what supplies he could carry: food, water, his scanner, and some emergency tools. Alari took only the towel and the small device on her collar. Her steps were slow but steady. Where will we go? Lucas asked as they moved toward the rover. There's an old canyon path, Alari said. Few know it. I learned it as a child. It leads to the border of safe lands. Lucas started the rover. Dust rose behind them as they drove toward the canyon's edge. The rocky walls rose high on both sides, casting long shadows in the fading light. This place looks dangerous, Lucas said. Alari smiled softly. It is, but it hides us. As they entered the narrow path, Lucas slowed down. The rocks above looked unstable, and the path twisted sharply. Alari pointed ahead. Watch for traps. My people use sensors hidden in stones. Lucas scanned them. Walls carefully. Suddenly, a soft beep came from his scanner. Trap. He shouted and slammed the brakes. A faint net of energy shot across the road, but the rover stopped just in time. Alari touched his arm. Good. You learn fast. Lucas smiled, grateful for her help. They continued slowly, moving through the winding canyon. Alari taught Lucas how to listen for the small sounds: the rustle of wind, the hum of energy traps, the shift of loose stones. The canyon is alive, she said. It tests those who walk it. Lucas shook his head, amazed. This place has a mind. Alari laughed quietly. Not a mind, but a memory. It remembers who respects it. They camped in a small cave, hidden by hanging vines and shadows. Lucas built a small fire, and Alari helped gather dry wood. As the night deepened, Lucas looked at her carefully. Why did you run? What made them want you back so badly? Alari's eyes darkened. My family was the last hope of peace. My people want war. They believe power only comes from strength and fear. Lucas frowned. Sounds like a bad place to be from. Yes, she said softly. I escaped because I want peace, because I want to live without fear. Lucas nodded slowly. You know, humans aren't so different. We fight too, sometimes for peace. Alari smiled faintly. Maybe that is why the bond with you feels strong. Lucas looked surprised. You mean the towel? She laughed quietly. Yes, it is a simple thing, but it carries hope. They sat quietly by the fire, the stars bright above. Lucas felt a strange calm. Alari was different from anyone he had met, but she was kind and brave. The next morning, they moved again. The canyon grew tighter, and the sun rose high. Alari stopped suddenly, her eyes sharp. Listen, Lucas held still. Far away, he heard a soft word drones. They found us, Lucas whispered. ALAR. I grabbed his hand. Follow me. They moved fast through narrow side paths, slipping past rocks and low trees. Lucas was amazed at her speed and knowledge. After hours of running, they reached a hidden valley, lush and green compared to the dry canyon. Safe, Alari said. For now, Lucas smiled. You're full of surprises. Alari looked at him. And so are you, Guardian. Lucas laughed. Don't remind me. They rested, but Lucas knew this was not the end. The bond between them was growing stronger. It was not just about a towel or an act of kindness. It was about trust, protection, and maybe something deeper. As the sun set behind the canyon walls, Lucas looked at Alari and thought this strange journey was changing him. It was teaching him about honor, culture, and courage in ways he never imagined. And he knew one thing for sure. He would stand with her, no matter what came next. The valley where Lucas and Alari had taken refuge was quiet and peaceful, but danger still lingered close. Lucas knew the enemy ships could return at any time. Alari seemed calm, but Lucas could see the tension in her eyes. We can't stay here long, she said softly. They will search every place. Lucas nodded. We need to find a better plan. They moved toward a small outpost at the valley's edge. Lucas hoped to send a message for help. But as they approached, the sound of engines filled the air. A squad of alien ships landed nearby. I stopped in her tracks. They found us. Lucas held her arm. We won't run this time. The alien soldiers stepped out, heavily armed and serious. Their leader, a tall alien with sharp features, walked forward. He looked at Alari with cold eyes. Return with us, he said in a deep voice. You belong to us. Alari shook her head. I belong to no one. Lucas stepped in front of her. She's under my protection. The alien leader raised an eyebrow. Protection? Alari spoke quietly. He gave me the towel. The bond is formed. Lucas frowned. The towel? Alari nodded. It means he is my guardian. To take me from him is dishonor. The alien leader glanced at Lucas. Do you accept this bond fully? Lucas looked at Alari and then back at the leader. He understood the moment was important. He took a deep breath and stepped forward. I accept. I am her guardian. The soldiers looked at each other. Surprised. Alari spoke. Again, if the bond is accepted, it is permanent. No one can break it. The leader's eyes narrowed. This is not a matter to take lightly. Lucas felt the weight of the moment. He was just a simple engineer, but now he carried a great responsibility. I will protect her, Lucas said firmly. No matter what. The leader studied them for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly. Very well. We will not interfere for now. Lucas breathed a sigh of relief. Alari smiled softly. You made the choice. Lucas looked at her. What choice? To be my guardian fully. To stand with me, not just by chance, but by will. Lucas felt a new strength inside. He was no longer just a man helping a stranger. He was a protector, a partner. I don't know what the future holds, Lucas said quietly, but I won't back down. Alari touched his hand. Then we faced it together. The alien soldiers retreated, leaving Lucas and Alari alone in the valley. They looked at each other with respect and trust. Lucas realized this bond was more than tradition. It was a promise to stand by each other in the face of danger. As night fell, Lucas kept watch while Alari rested. He thought about the journey ahead and the battles they might face. But one thing was clear: he had chosen his path, and he would not walk it alone. The days after the alien soldiers left were tense, but quiet. Lucas and Alari stayed in the valley, hidden beneath the trees and rocks. Lucas learned more about Alari's culture and the meaning behind their bond. Every moment brought them closer. One morning, a new ship appeared. Unlike the harsh fighters before, this ship was sleek and carried the mark of a high-ranking alien. Captain. Lucas and Alari hid as the ship landed near the outpost. The captain stepped out, an older alien with wise eyes and calm power. He walked toward them with slow steps. Alari stepped forward and bowed her head slightly. Lucas stayed close, his hand near his side, ready if needed. The captain looked at Alari, then at Lucas. "I have heard of this bond," he said, "and it is rare." Alari nodded. "It is a sacred promise between guardian and protected." The captain's eyes softened. To break such a bond would bring great unrest among your people. He turned to Lucas. "You, human, have accepted an ancient law." Lucas felt the weight of the captain's words. "I did not know the full meaning when I gave her the towel. Sometimes the smallest acts carry the greatest power," the captain said. Alari smiled. "He is a true guardian." The captain nodded and spoke to his crew through a communicator. After a moment, he turned back. "We will not send more soldiers. The bond is respected." Lucas felt relief flood through him. The captain looked at Alari. "You are lucky to have found such a protector." Alari touched Lucas's hand gently. "And I am lucky." The captain smiled kindly. "This bond may bring peace between your worlds, human." Lucas raised an eyebrow. "Peace? That sounds like a big hope." The captain nodded. "Hope begins with respect and trust. You have both shown this." As the captain's ship lifted off, Lucas looked at Alari. "Maybe this towel is more than cloth after all." Alari laughed softly. "It is the start of a new story." They walked back to their camp, their steps lighter. The valley no longer felt just a hiding place. It felt like the beginning of something new. Lucas knew the galaxy was vast and full of danger, but with Alari by his side and the bond between them, he felt ready to face whatever came next. The stars shone brightly above as Lucas and Alari stood on the deck of a small human transport ship. The valley where they had hidden was far behind them now. Ahead lay new worlds, new challenges, and an uncertain future. Alari looked out at the vast sky, her violet eyes reflecting the distant lights. She held the towel, the symbol of their bond, close to her heart. Lucas watched her quietly. He had come a long way from being just an engineer on a quiet colony. Now, he was a guardian, a protector, and something more. "Do you ever miss your home?" Lucas asked softly. Alari nodded. "Sometimes. But home is not just a place. It is where trust lives." Lucas smiled. "Then we have made a new home." Alari turned to him. "Yes." Together, their journey had not been easy. From the crash in the desert to fleeing hunters, from forming a sacred bond to gaining respect from powerful aliens, it had changed them both. But now, they faced a new chapter. Lucas had been offered a role as a representative for Alari's people, someone who could help build peace between humans and her world. It was a chance to make a difference. Alari was to be a peace envoy, a symbol of hope and change. As the ship prepared to jump to faster space, Lucas looked at the glass case in the corner of the cabin. Inside lay the towel, folded carefully, a reminder of the moment that started it all. "Do you think they understand what this means?" he asked. Alari smiled softly. "Some things must be felt, not spoken." Lucas nodded. "Then it's up to us to show them." The engines hummed as the ship accelerated. The stars stretched into long lines, and the universe opened before them. Alari reached out and took Lucas's hand. Their bond, once a mystery, now a source of strength. "Whatever comes next," she said, "we face it together." Lucas squeezed her hand. Together, as the ship disappeared into the night sky, two souls stood united, guardians of a promise, bearers of hope, and pioneers of a future built on kindness and trust. The towel was more than cloth. It was the beginning of a story that would change the galaxy forever.